Hello, and welcome to the third part of this week's episode of KRAD COVID Readings. I'm Keith R.A. DeCandido, providing readings of my work to entertain you during the coronavirus pandemic. This is the final part of the Ballad of Big Charlie, which appeared first in 2012 in V-Wars, the shared world vampire anthology series edited and created by Jonathan Maberry. Also the basis of 3 more anthologies, a comic book that Jonathan wrote for IDW, and a Netflix series starring Ian Somerhalder. Came out last year. Anyway, this is the final bit of the Ballad of Big Charlie. Chapter 21. Mia was surprised to see Detective Trujillo calling her. She never figured to hear from the detective again after he helped her out with the senator's murder. Hello, Detective. Look, Fitzsimmons, we never had this conversation, okay? She frowned. Okay. What? I caught the Jaffe murder, okay? And it's seriously fucked up. We're talking the exact same thing that happened to Capsis. Mia recalled that the borough president's apartment wasn't far from that of the senator, and both were in the 24th precinct. So it wasn't a surprise that the same detective caught both. So what's the problem? The problem is that this time we got footage. Jaffe had video surveillance on her place, everywhere but the bathroom and the bedrooms covered, and this was a fucking wolf. Her heart leapt into her throat. Big Charlie? Nah, he's alibied, and after that ad she ran, he was second on our list after her ex. But nah, he was in his office all night. Got footage of that, too. God bless security cameras, right? So why you? Because something ain't right. Look, Capsis is closed, and it's staying closed. You don't reopen a senator's murder case if you want to keep your job, so fuck that shit. But you ain't got nothing to lose. And this ain't sitting right with me. Come by the 2-4 when you get a chance. I got a DVD of Jaffe security footage for you. Maybe you can use it. Mia smiled. I guess I owe you one now, huh, Detective? Damn fucking right. With that, he ended the call. And Mia's smile fell. If it was a wolf-like creature who killed both Senator Capsis, who just criticized Big Charlie on the air, and President Jaffe, who just started a nasty ad campaign against Big Charlie, then things did not look particularly good for the Bronx DA. The next morning, first thing, she took the bus to the number 2 train, taking that to 96th Street in Manhattan, from which it was a short walk to the 24th precinct. Sure enough, a padded envelope with a rewritable DVD was waiting for her at the sergeant's desk. Not wanting to wait, she went to a Dunkin' Donuts on Broadway and opened up her laptop, putting the DVD in the tray. Then she pulled out her phone and called her editor. Bart, I may have something, and I need to run it by you to make sure I'm not crazy. Okay, Bart said nonchalantly. He'd had reporters do this all the time. I got my hands on the security footage of Emma Jaffe's apartment. What? Bart was less nonchalant now. Never mind. The point is, I'm looking at what attacked her. It's a wolf. Shit. Yeah, and it gets better. Big Charlie isn't the only vampire out there who changes shape. You've got other Loup-Garou, you've got Halpucci, Wyrdolac, Achanchu. Get to the point, Bart said impatiently. And sorry for the mispronunciations of those words. Sorry. She'd been doing a lot of research lately, and she sometimes forgot that most people didn't care as much as she did. Anyhow, one thing that's constant with all the shape changers is that they keep the same mass. Meaning? Well, Big Charlie's about 275 pounds. When he turns into a wolf, he's still 275 pounds. The wolf I'm looking at on this DVD is less than 200 pounds. You sure? Before Mia could answer, Bart said, Of course you're sure. You're quoting Eastern European vampire names at me off the top of your head. Well, actually, only the Wyrdolac is Eastern European. The others... I could give a shit. Look, Mia, where are you going with this? She hesitated. I don't know yet, but it isn't Big Charlie killing these people. What? Bart's voice got distant. Bart? Oh, fuck. All right, get Castro over there. His voice grew louder. Gotta go, Mia, and so do you. Your guy's house just got torched. Chapter 22. Partial transcript of special primary day coverage on Channel 12. With 90% of the precincts now reporting in statewide, it appears that the race for senator is a dead heat between Mickey Solano and the late Manhattan Borough President, Emma Jaffe. The tremendous support for Jaffe coming after her brutal murder only a few nights ago is impressive. Even more impressive is the less than 1% of the vote received so far by Bronx District Attorney Hugues Charles. In fact, indeed, some reports are that Big Charlie, a self-confessed vampire, has received less than 100 votes statewide, a historically low number. Quite a turnaround from his landslide victory in the Bronx DA race last year. Speaking of Big Charlie, we have a breaking story in the Bronx. Nashonda Henry is on the scene. Nashonda. I'm at the home of Bronx District Attorney Hugues Charles, or at least what's left of it. The house, located on Dreamer Avenue in the Bronx, caught fire an hour ago. Firefighters have gotten the blaze under control. Although several members of the press and dozens of protesters have been present at Big Charlie's house fairly consistently since Manhattan Borough President Emma Jaffe's murder last week, no injuries have been reported yet. I have to emphasize that yet because so far there are 3 people missing, and 2 of them are Big Charlie and his mother, Marie Charles. The third is Jack Kearns, a former NYPD detective who has been serving as the head of Big Charlie's security detail during the primary race. The lead firefighter on the scene, Lieutenant Eamon Mahoney, had this to say. We've been through the entirety of the wreckage of the house, and not only haven't found any bodies, we haven't found any evidence of bodies. No blood, nothing. This was a slow burn, not the kind of thing that burns bodies so badly there's nothing left. We responded in more than sufficient time. It's a preliminary judgment, but I'd say that nobody was home when the fire was set. According to NYPD spokeswoman Jane Amundsen, police have put out an all points for all 3 missing occupants of the house, saying they are wanted for questioning in the presumed arson. While NYPD has categorically stated that Big Charlie was not a suspect in the murder of Emma Jaffe, protesters have remained camped outside his house since that murder, with the threat of violence always there. It is unknown if one of them started the fire or not. For Channel 12, I'm Nashonda Henry. Chapter 23. Judy Alejo sat in her office, staring into space, biting the right side of her lip. She had turned her phone off and couldn't bear to look at her email. Her laptop was open to news stories about the late Emma Jaffe's victory and the disappearance of Big Charlie following the firebombing of his house. Someone knocked on her door. Probably her assistant. She ignored it. Judy, I'm sorry, but Mia Fitzsimmons is here to see you? She sighed. Had it been anyone other than her former high school classmate, she would have called security. Come on in, Judy said after a long sigh. You look like crap, Mia said without preamble. That prompted a bark of laughter. Yeah, next time I walk out of this courthouse will probably be the last. Ain't no way I'm keeping my job. My boss has gone missing, and even if he didn't actually kill nobody, everybody thinks he did. She glanced over at her laptop. Every op-ed in the city is about how innocent people don't run, and even if he didn't kill Jaffe and Capsis, he probably got one of his Lucaroo buddies to do it for him. She shook her head. Christ, he didn't even know any other Lucaroo. I only knew one. Mia sat down in Judy's guest chair. Judy frowned. Excuse me? I knew everyone he knew, and you knew her too. Mia took a deep breath. Okay, I don't have much by way of actual proof of this, but did you ever see Charlie transform? Well, Judy hesitated. It was funny, with everything they discussed, both among themselves and with the press and other politicians and lawyers, she hadn't even realized that she never saw the transformation. She'd been calling her boss a loup-garou for over a year now, without any empirical proof. Well, no, I didn't, but so what? I don't think he actually has I-1V1. That's crazy. Remember when he announced he had it? Mia was flipping through a notepad now. He said he would provide records of his doctor visit. Yeah, so? Judy, I never got those health records. Nobody did. We all kind of forgot about it in the mess of the race. And besides, it wasn't that big a deal. I mean, why would anyone lie about something like that, right? He didn't lie! Judy stood up, pacing her small office. Jesus, Mia, do you really think he'd do something that crazy? Charlie's the sanest person I know, and he'd never open himself up to all that bullshit. Unless he wanted to protect someone he loved. Judy whirled on the reporter. Excuse me? The cops are keeping it quiet, but the evidence points to the same killer for both Jaffe and Capsis. Thought it was the nephew who got Capsis. Mia shook her head. There's no way Nathan did it. He's a Virculatios. He doesn't have the strength. I bet real money that his lawyer uses that when it finally goes to trial. Shaking her head, Judy said, I don't get it, Mia. What? It's his mother. Marie Charles is the loup-garou. For several seconds, Judy just stared at Mia. Then she burst out laughing. Nice one, Mia. Marie's a loup-garou, and I'm the queen of fucking England. Now I remember why I didn't like you in high school. I'm calling security to haul your bony white ass out of here. Mia stood up as Judy reached for her phone. Please, Judy, hear me out. I don't like this either, but it fits. Marie doesn't actually have an alibi for either killing, and the wolf that killed Jaffe weighs about the same as she does. Judy stared at her. That's all you got? I told you I don't have anything solid, but I know him. And so do you. Look at what we do have, and think about how he feels about his memo. Do you really think he wouldn't do all this for her? Instinctively, Judy wanted to say no, but she couldn't. The woman sailed to New York from a violent country while 8 months pregnant to save her son. And Big Charlie had always been one to repay his debts. He tried to avoid her being subject to the nightmare of press coverage of being the vampire mother of a politician. And he'd also try to fix it so that things were better for others of her kind. No wonder he wanted to run for Senate so bad, Judy whispered. Jesus. He kept insisting no matter how many people told him it was stupid. And it never made sense, but now... She looked at Mia. How sure are you? Mia just stared back. How sure are you? Neither woman said anything in response. Chapter 24. Op-ed piece by Mia Fitzsimmons in the New York Daily News. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bronx is burning. That was the thought that went through my head as I stood in front of Hugues Charles's burning house 2 months ago. I had been on an errand in Manhattan when my editor told me that his house was on fire. I immediately hopped in a cab and hightailed it to Dreamer Avenue, only to watch Big Charlie's home go up in flames. Back in 1977, Howard Cosell said those words when he saw the South Bronx on fire from Yankee Stadium. A young Hugues Charles heard them and swore he would protect the Bronx to keep it from burning. On a Tuesday night in September, he officially failed. The Reverend Josiah Mann, a so-called religious leader who has never set foot in New York City, as far as I know, called for his head. And TV commercials called him a monster and a menace. The day before her tragic murder, Emma Jaffe, one of his opponents, aired a commercial that called for a vote for him to be a vote for death. All of them missed the point. Big Charlie was trying to protect the people of the city he called home from burning down. It's been 2 months since the night that the Bronx burned. And while it was just one house on Dreamer Avenue, it was as devastating as those multiple fires were in October 1977. Big Charlie is still missing, with no sign of him or his memo. We can only assume that Marie Charles and her son are in hiding. We can only assume they're okay. Today, Mickey Solano is the new junior senator for New York State. When he is sworn in early next year, he will be expected to vote on legislation against the very virus that gave him his job. After all, if not for I-1V1, Alex Kapsis would have finished his term and likely been reelected, opposed only by the same Frank Vandermeer who only managed 30% of the vote against Solano. If not for I-1V1, Big Charlie would probably not have been opposed by Solano in the Bronx DA race, which raised his profile. Now the Bronx will have an inferior DA. New York has an inferior senator. And a good man whose only mistake was that he was powerless against a virus he couldn't help contracting has disappeared, leaving only ashes in his place. Worse, those who have I-1V1, who had put their hopes in at last having representation in Congress, have gone even further underground, vilified even more by the Reverend Manns and Mickey Solanos of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bronx is still burning. That's the end. The View More stories are really good. This particular anthology includes stories by Nancy Holder, Scott Nicholson, Gregory Frost, Yvonne Navarro, James A. Moore, John Everson, and Jonathan Maberry. Subsequent volumes have more stories by us and by lots of other people. I'm also in Streets of Fire, which also features Mia Fitzsimmons as well as Detective Trujillo and a bunch of other people. It focuses on the Vampire Crimes Unit of the NYPD, which was formed to deal with vampire-related crimes. I will probably read Streets of Fire on a future KRAD COVID readings. Meantime, check those books out. Check out the graphic novels. You can get them from IDW, and you can watch the first season, and unfortunately only season, of V-Wars on Netflix, starring Ian Somerhalder. The Netflix series is a little different from the books, as adaptations usually are, but it's a nifty little series, and I think it's worth checking out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please continue to tune in to KRAD COVID readings. I will continue to read fun things to make you enjoy yourself, hopefully. Check me out online at DeCandido.net, on my blog at DeCandido.wordpress.com, and also, please consider supporting me on Patreon. There's lots of really cool content there, including TV and movie reviews, cat pictures, excerpts from my work in progress, and vignettes featuring my original characters. It's really neat stuff, and you're gonna love it. Anyway, thank you very much, and please, stay safe.